More often than not, a removable mask in a WWE video game release occurs thanks to a glitch in the game's development. WWE 2K20 was notable for this, and when editing superstars, players noticed that pressing certain buttons allowed them to remove the mask on every single masked superstar in the game. But outside of the now infamous 2K20, there have been occasions where the game's developers have actually allowed players to remove superstars' masks in editing modes in the game itself. However, there have been times where they've been extremely protective in relation to the appearance and true identities of the person behind the mask, meaning they've gone to great lengths to ensure that the players don't get to see what superstars look like behind the mask. Remember, it took around 5 years for players to see Kane's face behind the mask, but it could be done, and there were some others as well. So join us now as WrestleGamia looks at 5 instances where you could remove a superstar's mask in a WWE video game. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when we upload a video. Number 5. Kane in WWF WrestleMania 2000. Now, one of the most entertaining elements about the WWF WrestleMania 2000 video game was the edit feature that could be incorporated into the game. Players would have the ability to edit their favorite superstars in any way they saw fit, and this led to some humorous and some downright bizarre creations from players. Players also had the ability to perform this edit on Kane, who would still be wearing his mask when the game was released. When players would attempt to remove Kane's trademark mask in the edit mode, it would unfortunately be blacked out. Perhaps this was supposed to reflect the physical burns that Kane had suffered when he was a child, or developers knew that there was some way to get that mask off Kane and they didn't want to reveal his face underneath. This was great attention to detail and something which made this element of the game way ahead of its time. Number 4. Kane in WWF No Mercy. Now, even though you could remove his mask in WrestleMania 2000, you couldn't actually see his face, but players were actually able to unmask the Big Red Machine in the acclaimed WWF No Mercy game. When players created a wrestler, they had the option of using body parts and features from WWF superstars. If players selected Kane, he would appear without the mask. Interestingly, Kane would look extremely similar to how he would look once he would unmask in 2003. Now, most WWE fans didn't actually know what Kane looked like at the time of the game's release, meaning most players simply assumed it was just a generic face under the mask. Little did they know, that was actually Kane's face. Number 3. Kalisto and Kane in WWE 2K19. As per the majority of modern games, when WWE 2K19 was released, there was a major issue in relation to custom creations mode. One of the issues centered around the fact that players were able to remove the mask of Kalisto when WWE and 2K had no intention of allowing the players to do such a thing. Players would remove the mask of Kalisto and see his actual real-life face, which was scanned in for the game. This was actually the first time that Kalisto's face had been seen by WWE fans, and it came in the form of a WWE video game. This issue also meant that players were able to unmask Kane. However, of course, this wasn't too big of a deal as every player and fan knew what Kane already looked like under his iconic mask. It appeared as if 2K fixed the issue relatively quickly after the game was released, but nevertheless, the damage was already done, especially to Kalisto, who's never done a face reveal. Number 2. Rey Mysterio in 2K19. WWE and Rey Mysterio have been extremely protective in terms of not exposing Rey's face to the world. However, in 2K19, a glitch in the game resulted in players being able to actually play as an unmasked version of the former world champion. Searching Rey Mysterio on the community creations will bring up the option to download an unmasked version of Rey. Rey's face model is his actual face, meaning that he was actually scanned in at some point without his mask, but it's unclear why this would occur. And number 1. All superstars in 2K20. Unfortunately for 2K and WWE, one of the many glitches in 2K20 resulted in players having the ability to remove every single superstar's mask within the game. This came about when players would edit attires in the custom mode section of the game. Superstars such as Mick Foley, Kane, Kalisto, Lince Dorado, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and even Rey Mysterio could all be removed, with some having some downright bizarre appearances under their masks thanks to further glitches that occurred once the mask was removed. But there you have it, folks. 5 instances where you could remove a superstar's mask in a WWE video game. Did you guys come across any of these glitches? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.